2009.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationship more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. I didn't come here on The Shark Shop is gonna teach you how to be perfect. Your friends, people in your life looking, wow, this person is the best. That's not the point! I mean, kind. Well, no one is perfect. It's not easy. No one is perfect.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
What is happening? I mean, it's a good point, and see, the highlighted answers are saying, I don't know what's happening, but I guess it makes sense. But see, there's supposed to be a right answer.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Nobody is perfect. No matter how perfect you think they are, there's always something wrong. There's always something flawed. That's what it means to be human.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
So there's a stage, I see gator cases, there's probably speakers. Looks like these are gator cases, these are holding speakers, and they're probably holding tools and wires and and all the cables needed, probably some outlets. I don't know why they're not set up. Whoa, okay. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. Good, stay right there. Okay. Hello. Hello, that's it? Well, that's how you start. I'm super scared right now. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. I'll talk to her again. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? You're messing it all up again. Okay, I can try again. I started with hello. What? Excuse me? Why am I locked in here?
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010! Kaylee was turning 6. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. What's going on, Captain? What we can do? What's going on? I don't know why it happened to be 2. There's a giant storm. I think it went black. Okay then.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
There is a solution. Oh, geez.
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
It's draining.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
Oh.
Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Well, it's hard to finish games. I mean, it's hard for me to do YouTube videos because you have to do real life too. There's bills to pay, there's all this adult stuff you gotta do. So you can't spend solid time on it. And you also have friends and you have family, you have obligations. There's people in your life that you gotta take care of. So you can't just like, only the really fortunate people get to like have a job where it's totally focusing on games and you can just really hammer it out. So you know, it happens. And it's okay to take time away from your outlets. And it's okay to have it not be fun and you need to take a break, you know? Especially when life gets in the way. Anyways, what's wrong? You look lost. I have nothing left to give for work. There's a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine. I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
You have to open the door. Okay, now what? Now you have to close the first door.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
These are just some words on the walls. But it's not easy. You have to open the door. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, keep talking. You have to open the door.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
I
don't know.
These are all
This is
stuff
what
that
I
I
felt
keep
at the time.
saying.
I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Coda? Coda seems to have been going through a lot. Guard. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quiet. Very good. Be warned, someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention. It calls itself Coda. How did you capture the machine? So wait, all these games are linked.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. Your work was keeping us healthy. Those people out there, can you imagine what pain? What is this game? I've seen the thingy here. Alright then, I'll speak to them for you. My friends, I have a troubling revelation. What is this? I don't know, this doesn't seem right. None of this seems right. Why do I have the gun again?
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Okay. Wait, we're just shredding the level?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Well, some people don't need to talk to people. Some people just need someone to listen. Some people don't need feedback, or some people are afraid of what they're going to hear because they think no one's gonna like it. Like, they think your interaction's just gonna be negative. And sometimes the only interaction you can have is negative, but sometimes you have to bite the bullet and take it.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Well, that's nice that you were happy for your friend.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's.
Okay.
This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Yeah. So this is in June 2011. So Kaylee, oh man, Kaylee was 7. Where are we? This was the last game Coda made? Like he
And this is where I
stopped
have trouble
developing.
saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
This is a bit strange. So he quit game developing after that? After this game, he just stopped developing games?
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Hold on.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Hold on, my mom is calling. Give me 2 seconds. So, let's see how this goes. So, I'm gonna skip the maze. Or actually, so I can see it. Oh, my phone's on. Sorry. Anyway.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
Yeah.
But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
There might not be one. Not everything has to have meaning. Hey,
The
wait a
only
second.
way
The
past this
character's
challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Okay. Okay. 1. So
the switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So
yeah.
even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
It's not your job to fix
But I
some
can open this
problems
door for you, so let me do that.
But sometimes it's not your job to fix the problem. Some problems can only be fixed by
Was I a
God and the
failure
person themselves.
for not understanding this game?
No.
I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Everyone feels awful when they can't understand their friends, the one person who they're supposed to help and nurture and make feel loved. It's hard when you feel like you just can't do that. But you didn't do anything wrong. You're not a failure for not understanding him.
I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I guess you're trying to get to know him.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
You can't.
It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
You didn't fail, but you can't put your happiness in people. People fail.
Where did I screw up?
You didn't. You can't put your happiness in people. Yeah, let them, like, have fun every now and then. Make them feel like
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them?
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
So wait, he stopped making games? Coda stopped making games because you started screwing with his stuff? Why would you mess with someone else's game? You're not allowed to just edit people's games. If they ask for input, if they ask for your input and what could be better, then fine. I can't see anything. Hold on, there's glare in my room, I can't see anything. I'm gonna close the curtain. So, what happened? Struggling to come up with ideas and not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of low points are just a part of the process. That is true. And sometimes you just gotta take a break. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than it does me. I realize this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks to you and make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry.
But you're doing the exact
I know I
thing.
screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please. Start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
You are gonna be okay. But this isn't the way to do it. It's a train station. Very empty train station.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Well, I mean, I guess you can get addicted to praise, but that's why you can't put your happiness in people. How do I get out of here? I just walk up the stairs? Guess I gotta go in from the other side.
Solution.
There is no solution.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Or maybe he was screwing around with mechanics and learning new tricks. Because sometimes you just need a really basic
Even
formula.
now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I don't hate you. I don't agree with what you did, but... Because, you see guys, if someone asks you not to show their work, or they show it to you in confidence, in private, like for like a quiet beta testing, or if they only just want a few personal friends to play it and they send it to you, and they ask you not to publish it, no matter how good the game is, you don't publish it. That's not what they wanted. And you sure don't just go and start editing it. If they ask for suggestions or say, hey, can you see if anything's broken, then yeah, of course, tell them it's broken. Tell them, hey, you know what? I kind of like this part, but that's only if they ask. You can't just go around editing things that aren't yours to edit, because that's not yours. And two wrongs don't make it right. So he shouldn't have made the same mistake again. Also, I can't see anything. Because my camera was flippier because of my trackpad. Whoops.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Well, you would do it just for fun. I don't do these videos for external validation. I mean, yeah, you guys, it gives me like, it makes me really happy when you guys like my videos or do all of that stuff, but like, I only do it when I feel like I want to do it because I want to do it. Or because I said I would. What now? Well, what now is what you should do is take this.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna...
Go ahead, it's okay.
Okay.
I actually kind of feel bad for both of them. Hey, it's the beam again. I don't even know what the ending is going to be like. Alright, back, sorry. I don't know how this is gonna end. So this is gonna be interesting. I really think that neither of them, well, not neither of them, right, but he did wrong things. Kind of. Like, he did a lot of wrong things. I can't say that there was bad intentions behind it, though. Neutral. Maybe it's kind of not. His intentions behind it weren't great. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave, let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles, and you're so tired, but I know that you're strong, so turn back, turn back.
Alright, so that was the beginner's guide. I had to, I missed the credits a bit, I'll probably see it in editing. I had to, take a second and deal with some stuff. It's all good though. But that was a really interesting game. I don't even know how to take it. It was very Stanley Parable-esque, but at the same time it was completely different. It wasn't trolly like Stanley's Parable. It was like actually really deep. Kind of. So yeah. It was a really cool game. I had a lot of fun playing it. I thought it was very interesting, and I was kind of quiet because I was listening and my mind was going, what the heck, the entire time. So that was the thing. Really well made game. Good job, developers. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a really long video, but I didn't feel like there was a good place to stop. This game was just a straight shoot through. Like, there was no good place to break it off. Just kept going and going, and I didn't want to lose momentum, so I thought it was really great. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys watching. I will see you all later. Bye-bye!